That's right, guys. Got the brand new Callaway Epic here. Just came in today. I'm super excited about this. I haven't seen a ton of reviews out there online yet, so I'm really excited to finally give this a shot. And Rory McIlroy actually just signed a contract with Callaway. Supposedly he's playing this exact driver, maybe not this shaft, but this head, the Sub-Zero head that Callaway came out with. So first impressions, we just took it out of the box, hit a couple of shots with it. First impressions, though, are that it looks pretty epic. It actually looks pretty good to me. I'm pretty happy with it. I love that Callaway brought some subtle hints of the composite head back into the looks here as well. They didn't just do a full carbon head like a lot of the tailor-made heads now. They actually just put subtle hints of it, especially on the top crown here. You can see on the top crown, they actually have a solid black line at the top here, and then it fades back as you go back further and further down the crown there. It goes to a more composite looking, more carbon fiber looking feel. They also have two little, I don't know what you'd call them, Ping calls them turbulators, but they do have two definitely raised lines here as they come into the center, moving in towards the center, towards the Callaway chevron here. Doesn't bother me a ton. I usually like a nice, simple top to my driver. I really enjoyed the XRs that Callaway had not that long ago. Very, very subtle top, not much to it. So they did a good job of kind of blending both having not that much stuff, but then also still having some alignment aids and still having a little bit of that composite look. Same thing when we move to the bottoms here, when we look at the pure aesthetics of the club here, you can see they do have two weights, both one right behind the head and then right behind the face, and then one on that trail edge there. And it's 12 grams in the back and 2 in the front. So that would be their standard setting. That's what they would ship all the drivers out as. And I gotta tell you, I've hit a few shots with it in this setting, and then also with flipping the weights and hitting the 12 gram weight in the front and the 2 gram weight in the back. And what I actually found is that it did make a difference, which I was very, very excited about. A lot of times nowadays with these new drivers, with all the adjustability and the weights, adjustability and the hosels, too many times we get drivers now that you will adjust everything on it and you won't see a difference in ball flight. So I was very happy to see that it did actually affect ball flight. That's something too many drivers are getting away from now. Again, I wouldn't necessarily see a ton of people getting fit to that though with having the 12 gram weight in the front. It did lower ball flight, it did bring down spin, maybe just a little bit. But what it also did is it started to bring in misses both left and right, a little too much for me. So wasn't a huge fan of that. And I was able to still get some pretty solid spin numbers with the weight in back, so I didn't have to worry about it a ton there. The feel and the sound of this driver, now it's a little bit different than what I was expecting, especially with the composite head. I usually play a composite head. I really enjoy the quiet, almost dead sound of the composite heads. And this one didn't really have that. It had a much louder ting to it, much more of the Ping sounding heads, the old titanium heads, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It wasn't obnoxious like the old Ping or the old Nike Sasquatches. Wasn't quite that loud and annoying, but it definitely did have a little bit more noise to it. As far as the actual performance of it, what did I notice? Well, they also incorporated what they call their jailbreak technology. So you can see right at the very bottom of the leading edge there, you can see that's what they call their jailbreak technology. Basically, it's just these two rivets that they put in going up the club head there. And what I noticed is that this actually did help with off-center hits, not as much left and right off-center hits, but high and low off-center hits. So I did find that my golf ball still traveled a pretty good ways. I actually was very consistent with my distance on these, which was pretty good because I didn't warm up, I didn't take a lot of swings beforehand, so I didn't have the most centeredness of contact that I would expect. But I was very, very pleased to see that the golf ball still traveled the same distance almost every time. So I was really, really impressed with jailbreak technology, whether it's that, whether it's the shape of the head, whether it's the feel of the head, whatever it was. I was very impressed to see that off-center hits did still kind of go the way they were supposed to. As far as the overall looks, when you're looking down at this driver, very, very similar to previous Callaway heads, especially the Big Berthas in the past year. I believe this one's coming in 3 different heads. I could Could be wrong, might be 2. They only shipped us 2 today. But very, very interesting idea. The shape of it is actually pretty similar, like I said, to their past ones. They did a very good job with this one. Overall impressions, would I game it? I'm gonna have to wait and see. I don't know if I got the total distance that I would see off of some of my other drives, but I definitely saw a pretty good accuracy component to it, which for me, that's pretty big. Hitting fairways is very important for my game, so I'm definitely gonna be interested in trying this out on the course here, hopefully in the next couple of days. We got a pretty crummy day out there today. So I hope to be out there in the next couple of days hitting a few of these out on the golf course, see how that accuracy actually works, and maybe compare it to my M2 and both my Mizuno 850. I'd love to see how all 3 of those together in a comparison. I might even try that here in a little bit. But hopefully this gives you guys a little bit of a tip. Let me know what you think below. Post some comments. Let me know what you think of the new Epic Driver. Let me know what you think of Rory switching to mostly Callaway clubs here. Love to hear your guys' take. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy, guys.